If you have a TikTok or Instagram, you probably have seen this guy. This is CRAWLY, the mall wizard, and I'm sculpting him today.
This video is sponsored by Squarespace. From websites and online stores to marketing tools and analytics, build your online presence with Squarespace.
And don't forget to check out aceofclay.com for all the latest sculpting supplies, wooden bases, armature wire, plushes, posters, and more. Now let's make this guy.
Alright, let's start making CRAWLY's armature with some of that armature wire I just mentioned. This is 10 gauge aluminum wire, and we're going to start shaping out the shoulders and legs. This is going to be a much simpler sculpture than you're used to seeing from me, but every once in a while, something small is okay, and I thought CRAWLY would be a great subject. And I attached his arms with some 16 gauge wire, positioned his legs, and now we're going to brush on some bacon bond so we can start sticking on our Super Sculpey Ultralight. This makes the clay stick super well to the wire. And we're just going to start bulking out the torso and his main robe area. One of the perks of using Ultralight for this step is that it is way easier, in my opinion, to control than aluminum foil, and you can use it in large chunks without worrying about it cracking. Now I just wanted to sort of flesh out the legs a little bit before I start adding the drapey fabric. Now while you're watching me bulk this guy out, I just want to ask you a quick favor. If you like my channel and you enjoy my content, be sure to hit that like button because it does a lot more than you think. It actually tells the YouTube algorithm that people are enjoying my content, along with views of course, and then it shows it to a broader audience. So that quick little click of the like button really does a lot for me, if you got a sec. This layer of clay doesn't have to be perfectly smooth, but the smoother it is, the better your final layer of clay will lay on it. Now let's go ahead and bake this. And once it's baked and cooled down, it's time for that final layer of clay. I'm using Super Sculpey Original, and I'm adding it to the body in very thin, even sheets. Once my entire surface is covered in clay, it's time to start making it look like fabric, using some snakes of clay and blending them in with the rest of the surface area. This sculpture is going to be like 95% fabric, so I want to make sure these wrinkles look really good. When you're adding folds to fabric like this, it's important to be mindful of where you're placing them so that they look realistic. If you have trouble with this, I would suggest throwing a sheet or comforter over a chair and just observe how the fabric's reacting to what it's been placed on. Take note on if it's pulling, if it's draping, if it's just free hanging. All of those things are important. As you can see, from knee to knee, the fabric is going to pull a little bit, so I want to achieve that with how I'm sculpting it. Now while I'm sculpting all this fabric, let me know in the comments if you've seen CRAWLY before on TikTok, Instagram, or whatever social media platform. Honestly, my For You page has been completely blown up with these CRAWLY videos and that weird medieval music for the past like almost 3 weeks. Now it's time to add the fabric to his arms, and this amount of clay alone without any bulking is probably the thickest I would go. So we're just going to start shaping out those sleeves, or honestly he's wearing a giant green blanket that's sort of formed into a robe, so we're just going to kind of make everything connect and like it's one big piece of fabric. I'm definitely not going for realism with this guy, it's more of a whimsical claymation style. And if you're still watching, I really appreciate you sticking around for this video. Every once in a while, it's nice for me to be able to make smaller sculptures that aren't as time consuming because burnout is very real. Making a really good sculpture every week is really hard. I'm not saying every sculpture I make every week is really good, but it's just hard keeping up with it sometimes. So it's nice being able to take a break and make something that's a little more chill. So again, thanks for sticking around.
All right, we're gonna take a quick break from our video to talk about our sponsor, Squarespace. Whether you're a big business, a small business, a freelance designer, or a sculptor like me, Squarespace has everything you need to showcase your brand, sell your products, and more. I've been using Squarespace for over 5 years now, even before they started sponsoring me, and I could not be happier with my experience. Their products are so streamlined and so easy to use that managing my website, aceofclay.com, is truly a breeze. Some of my favorite features include the portfolios and galleries. In my line of work, I have to share my work with the world, and Squarespace's beautiful portfolios allow me to do just that. I have an online shop where I can sell plushes, stickers, prints, sculpting supplies, and more, and Squarespace makes everything so easy, and I'm not kidding when I say that. I can track my inventory, print shipping labels, I get notification when something sells. Everything I need is right there in the platform. You can even sell digital downloads. They really have everything you need to start selling online. And at this day and age, if you're an online business, you've got to have a social media presence, and Squarespace allows you to integrate all of your social media into any page of your website. So if all of this sounds good, head on over to squarespace.com, start a free trial, and when you're ready to launch your website, go to squarespace.com/aceofclay to save 10% on your purchase of a website or domain using my code AceofClay. Thanks again, Squarespace, for sponsoring today's video. Now back to our sculpture.
Alright, with a little more refining and a couple more folds and wrinkles, we are almost done with this guy's blanket or robe. And we're going to move on to the hands now. I'm making these out of clay because clay stays flexible after it's baked, and I don't have to add armature wire to each of his fingers. And going forward with this channel, I think I want to start doing a bunch of foundational videos. How to sculpt a face, how to sculpt a nose, how to sculpt a mouth, how to sculpt an open mouth, an ear, hair, hands, all that. Let me know if that would interest you, because honestly that sounds like a lot of fun. Now I'm going to throw together a quick butterfly net for this guy using a toothpick and some floral wire, and then covering the floral wire that I wrapped around the toothpick with some more clay, and then I'm going to attach it to the armature in his arm with some more floral wire, and then we're going to sculpt his hand around it. To create a quick little net, I shaped a little sheet of clay around my fingertip and then added it to the wire. Now let's start making his head. I'm covering this ball of aluminum foil with some more clay, and then we're going to start shaping out his features. Again, I'm going for a simple claymation style, so this face is not going to be super detailed. I want it to almost be as unserious as the CRAWLY videos themselves. Now the real CRAWLY has eyebrows and a beard and mustache made out of cotton balls, but we're going to make it a little more like an actual beard and eyebrows. But of course we're going to keep everything really bushy looking. So let's go ahead and texture his eyebrows and then make his beard out of clay again so it stays flexible, and texture that as well, and then stick it to his face. Now let's simultaneously blend his beard in and texture it. And of course, we can't forget his giant mustache. And here I thought some pointy ears would be a nice touch. Now I'm filling the hole in the back of his head with some bacon bond and pressing it onto the armature. And then we're going to sculpt his hat out of some more ultralight so it's not super heavy and he doesn't lean forward. After some quick refinements, we're going to go in and brush everything with some clay softener to remove fingerprints and then get him ready for his final bake. Now let's go in and start painting. I laid down the base tone for his skin and his beard, and now we're going in painting the whites of his eyes and some brown details around everything to make the details stand out a little bit more. Now let's carefully paint his irises. And my favorite part of painting eyes is adding a little white dot reflection. Now let's go in and get that butterfly net painted. And the last step is to paint his robes. I tried to get this green as close as possible to the blanket that the real CRAWLY uses, and I think I did a pretty good job. I don't know, would you call this pistachio green? Now we're going to go in and dry brush a lighter green on top to really highlight all of those folds and wrinkles. And then my favorite part was adding some watered down dark green into all the nooks and crannies to really make everything pop. Alright, now say it with me.
And he's done! CRAWLY, the mall wizard, is complete. Let me know how you think I did in the comments. This was a super simple sculpture. I probably could have made this with my eyes closed, but I'm glad I made him. I think he came out kind of cute actually. I want to put him in my garden. Thank you so much for watching and being here. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Check out my website for sculpting supplies, plushes, posters, and more. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, X, and TikTok at Ace of Clay, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.